some time at 6:53. Yeah, we'll call it to order. Attendance has been taken, is that correct? That moves us to comments from citizens. Any comments from the citizens, please? We will take them at this time. Everyone's jumping out of their chairs, going once, twice, we are done. I will close comments from the citizens. That moves us to public safety, police department.
I don't really have a whole lot. We're trying to get our vehicles that we purchased up and running, getting those marked and put into service. Really don't have too much. The only other thing, I don't know if you guys talked about this or not, but we brought up hiring somebody but sponsoring them for the academy, which is, anybody that's going to the academy right now is sponsored, which means they already have a job and being paid by the police department that they're going to work for. And what that entails basically is providing some equipment for them to go through the academy, paying the academy fee to go, and paying them not full wage while they're in there. There is a program called the Missouri Blue Grant. I think that's what it's called, but basically the state of Missouri ponied up $1 million, $1.5 million or something like that, and is paying or giving out grants back to municipalities for the money that they're paying for people to go. So basically it's almost net zero to put somebody into this program as long as there's money available. And quite honestly, and even if it's not available, the money to put someone through is really minimal in my opinion. If you're gonna get some longevity out of somebody.
We developed an bench.
Right.
You're right.
And that, and to be honest with you, that doesn't always work out either, but what you do is you build in a back door there and say, well, if we put you under a 3-year contract, and if you work 1 year, then we'll knock 1/3 of the cost off, but otherwise you owe us 2 years plus, equipment charges, or whatever you wanna build into the contract.
And just so you know, we had discussion about this, we being Tara and I, based upon, in the past, and we've talked about the departments and the investment we make in linemen, that through the apprenticeship, whether it's a water plant, getting them their certifications, their plant operators. I'm all for these kind of things, but we are the only city, we were the only city that didn't ask for the materials for when we were putting in subdivisions. We're behind the times on that. If we're going to invest in employees, which we want to do, no problem with that, we've done that, we're gonna have an expectation that they will sign up for, paying back that cost if they leave early.
Yeah.
And that was the only pushback I had immediately when I heard this. I think that, I've heard that from other police departments too, using this program. It seems to be the way that they're able to do it, but we're gonna need to do it with the folks that we have in all departments, and we've talked about that, we talked about doing that. I think it's something we want to close the loop on in this situation here, if we decide to do that moving forward.
I would also add in there that we have entered into an agreement like this before, and we got our money back because the person didn't stay the complete time. So, I mean, it's tested, it worked out 100% of the time since we only had one so far, so, but.
Just to clarify though, we didn't put them through the academy, we hired someone.
We
had a
didn't, but the
contract
cost
with.
was similar, the time frame was similar, and so, and I will also add that since we've had an opening for the last 30, 60 days, we've had 0 applicants except for the guy that we're talking about. And just as a thing, if I didn't think that it would be a decent employee, just because we have no other applicants, I wouldn't necessarily hire him. And this would be conditional anyway, because we'd still have to do a background, and that kind of thing, but,
And that would be done prior to putting them in the program.
absolutely, yeah.
So what we gotta do? Who's gonna motivate this, us or?
Well, I think what has to happen
All of
is,
us
I think
together.
we have to have a drafted agreement
Yeah,
for
so.
a payback of this role, because I'm not,
Yeah,
I
I don't think
we
you
should
guys saw the
entertain.
last one, but I basically, called I called Columbia and said, what do you guys do?
So you're gonna kinda
Yeah, I'll run.
ramrod it, but otherwise we'll just keep talking about it.
the key is,
talking about
we'll,
it.
we'll have to pass an ordinance
Yeah.
with each department, what that looks like, I think, and I think that's what we need to do, close the loop on this as soon as possible, so.
But I guess we're saying, hey, let's go for it. It's kind of what we're saying, and then
So, as soon as we have a contract in
You won't
place,
be
we
wasting your
can go
time.
for it. We're not gonna go for it, and then this person slips through, and they're not on the hook, and we're a year later, we were hiring someone else, that's kind of what's happened, so I'm tempering this a little bit to say,
I provided Tara with an example.
you
of-
did,
of
absolutely.
what's
yeah.
kind of what the best practices or at least one version of that is.
So what I would recommend is we do this one first, get this done for expedience of getting this individual, if they pass a background check, vet it amongst us, make sure we're okay with it, and then pass an ordinance, if that's how this program.
Quicker
And
than
I'll
that.
have the information and the
She's got that,
contract for your approval at the next meeting.
yeah. So for next Monday, we'll be looking at
That'd
this.
be pretty quick, yeah.
Yeah. And then we will keep the ball moving, and then we will do one with the electric department, we'll do one with the departments that have where we're gonna train people and make an investment. Because once we make an investment, they become worth more to somebody else to take from us. And so they can they can flash some money at them per hour, but they don't have the cost involved with getting them to that level that they're hiring for.
Also, and some of the things that we need to give them, we already have that would
Sure.
normally cost money to purchase. We already,
Right.
equipment wise and, we provide a handgun, we already have all that stuff, so.
So it's gonna be a
No
little
additional
different
cost
in each
there.
one, but I believe we should get to a point like every other city I know of that's progressive. We have some sort of agreement in place with the individuals we hire that there's a payback if they live working. And I think that it's gotta be a reasonable commitment, right? And I think that we have to also be able to put in there if there's extenuating circumstances, that we would have the option to give some lenience to see that based upon circumstances, but it has to be very specific circumstances, them not being able to be here to work, right, any longer in the profession here in the area, so. Anyway, so that's what that is, so yeah, thanks for that. Anchor Fest, pretty calm,
Uneventful, really,
yeah, that's good, we did hear that. So,
from a standpoint.
good. Anything else for us, Chief?
No.
All right, Mrs. Fire Department?
Denny could not be here tonight, so he sent me an email.
Okay,
He said nothing new to report besides it's been basic calls all month. Anchor Fest, I believe, was pretty uneventful for them as well. They did have a couple of medical calls in Glen Square for heat. They are getting ready to line up for the 4th of July. And they've got new mortars are coming, and Delwyn and Demi are taking their tests Thursday morning, the 15th, in Jeff City. And then he's got, he's setting up a time for truck 1104 to get reprogrammed. It's just gotta be taken to St. Louis. Other than that, that's his report for the month.
So, what's the 4th? We're shooting fireworks the Saturday after or before?
Before, the
Before.
first, yeah.
Before, like the 1st, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah. Do we have to worry about anything with it? I'm gonna ask Denny, but with it being so dry.
So, check it out for sure, yeah. I mean, we may have to get trucks and stuff further down there to address it, but it should be fine. It's gonna rain before.
From your mouth to God's ears.
all right. So is that truck that they're reprogramming, is that the one that the pump truck?
Yeah.
Is the
That's
pump
the one
right?
we've had.
We've had trouble with it for
Yeah.
the last 3 years,
Yeah.
2 years, or
Would they
whatever.
say this is gonna fix it?
They say,
I'm out of the loop on, I do know that they were fighting between chassis and pump and the engine, and I think they finally decided they needed to reprogram the pump on it, so hopefully
we'll see
that will
what
be.
happens with that.
5 years later, they decided they need to reprogram.
Well, it's out of warranty now, so you
it
know.
costs us money.
I think he was trying to avoid that at all costs, I know that, so I don't know what he got done, but
Got you. Sounds good. Item 6, other public safety, emergency management for protective inspection. Nothing? We have a list, just so everybody knows, kind of along those lines. homes and things that are in disrepair, we're gonna have an administrative hearing coming up. We're getting lined out, we got a list of homes, top to bottom, that Sandy had, and compared those notes, and we have a lot of things going on in certain places here in town. And I know that the trailers and RV stuff is coming around pretty well, right? Tara, for an ordinance on that, so we get that closed up as well. Just, general government finance.
Has Sandy contacted the trailer off of Ann Street?
If she did, she didn't say anything to me.
Okay.
Ann Street over there.
No, not that.
Oh,
They got native grass growing too. They just haven't added the wildflowers.
well,
It's legal now.
I'm gonna behave and we'll move right on to general government finance, economic development, chamber of commerce reports we have, and,
Yeah,
you'll like to make a,
yeah, I submitted the report. In there, we partnered with the Pulaski Business School out of University of Missouri. Their final report is in there. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. Chris and Tara have met with those guys. We're looking to do it again in the fall. So we're open to any suggestions or anything like that that you might have that we might want them to work on for free for us. And then, other than that, Brittany Harper is here.
Mhm.
Brittany is our Anchorfest director, so we split the directorship of the chamber into two. So Sam is involved with community membership, that kind of thing, and Brittany is everything Anchorfest. So I'm gonna go for it. Thanks.
So first of all, we appreciate the support of the city, the Parks Department, sponsors, attendees, everybody to help us put on Anchorfest. It takes all of us to be able to do it. So just a quick breakdown on vendors. This year we had 78 vendors join us at the Anchorfest. We filled the square. 46 of them were new vendors that had never been here before. I included in this packet some information from the survey that I sent to the vendors. The main thing I wanted to point out is the question that says, overall, do you feel this event was a success? And it was 100% yes, the vendors did feel that it was. And 52% felt like their sales were average, and another 32% of them felt like they were above average. So a grand majority of them were very satisfied in their own sales. When we asked the question what we could do better, it was little things that's not going to be a problem to fix, such as extend the vendor hours, put the bathroom locations on our vendor maps. There wasn't anything substantial that came out of what we could do better. We did have an issue with the lights on the inside of the square not working at night, so I was talking to Matt about how we can fix that for next year. When we asked what we could do well, there was lots and lots of responses on the fact that they thought the event was great. Things that were often overlooked and underappreciated, like trash cans overflowing, were addressed and they were changed regularly. Nobody was complaining about it. They felt like the chamber board and volunteers were very pleasant and a huge help. They felt like there was a large amount of marketing of our event, so because of that there was a good amount of traffic. They loved the addition of multiple food trucks that we had that hadn't been there before, because it gave them options for meals and it shortened some of those lines, although they're still extremely long. And then they really liked the level of excitement that everyone was talking about for this year's event. At the carnival this year, we had 15 rides that surrounded the square, and sponsorships was something we were really proud of. Hubbell Power Systems came in as our presenting sponsor. So back when Anchorfest was first established in 1987, it was to honor A.B. Chance Company and their employees. So they were able to come back on as our presenting sponsor, and we were really proud of that. And in total, we had 44 sponsors, totaling more than $20,000 in sponsorship revenue. New in 2023, we brought back the 3-on-3 tournament. Thanks to Remax team, we had 31 teams participate in that, and it was very well received, and we're already looking forward to next year. Again, with Hubbell Power Systems coming on as a presenting sponsor, they also did an anchor driving demonstration that was new this year. Plans to continue that as well. And then again, to honor A.B. Chance Company and its employees, we were able to spotlight Hubbell's longest employee as our parade grand marshal, so that was very well received as well. Something unique to Anchorfest this year, which put us in a unique situation, was that intimately involved in the Anchorfest, there were 9 people new in their roles that were planning Anchorfest, so that's something that is very unique to this year. Plans for 2024 are already underway. We have many exciting things coming. We're listening to public feedback. We're trying to grow every year, get better every year. We're not perfect, so we're open to suggestions and try to make things better, more beneficial to our businesses, more beneficial to our community as a whole, and more beneficial to those who attend Interfest. With that, I'm open to questions, but more than anything, thank you for your support.
I had a lot of good comments about it. It seemed like it ran very smoothly. I think that the point that there were a lot of new people in the roles doing it, you know, this is Matt's first year on behalf of being a public works person, you know, we had electric department that had new people in that role. You go down the list, right, new chief of police, we get a lot of support, it seems like, on the law enforcement side of things. There was a lot of good presence with that. Overall, I didn't hear anything negative, except for the officiating by me and the back. I don't know where he gets it from, but he gets maybe me, but anyway, my son. So anyway, that being said, overall, I thought it was really well received, seemed like there was good traffic, the weather was good. It just seems like things went really well to me, and that's good when you have a change, and that's the biggest thing that we have during the year. You have that much change that we had, right, with, and I think it's great of the new energy because of more people wanting to be involved in, so I like to put it that way, right, because things have changed, and the lady that did it for years for us did a great job, and now things have changed, but there's been a lot of people invigorated into the program to help, and a lot of horsepower put under the whole hood. And I think that makes it better for everybody because it's just easier to do. And then I would guess that because it's the first year, that my guess would be next year would be a lot easier to do because the fact is you've gone through it this year. The question I did have is you had 25 people respond of the 70-some. What do you got to do? Give them a cookie or something, get them to fill that thing out, or
I
what?
feel like it's a good percentage of responding to survey.
I think you will. Yeah, in the business world it is.
My thought was if they had anything really good or really bad to say, they probably completed the survey to let us know.
They would make sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Is all the new energy coming back next year? You all still got a lot of energy and excited and
Yep.
good.
We got more energy we know what to do with.
You got this on film,
Be careful
so
what you
everybody
what you
has.
say.
Are you bringing the cars back on Sunday?
We're
For Acrefest,
we're
yeah.
discussing opportunities. Yes.
Good job, good job.
Any other questions, comments?
Yes, I have one. I've had many people ask, I just want to ask the question, right? The car show. Because I get
real well.
So hold on, I get pounded, but I get pounded by it, so, you know.
We all do.
And so it's September, we're gonna have it in September, and then it's gonna go back to being on Sunday of the Anchor Fest, and if I missed that, I apologize.
This year,
I'm so overwhelmed with the energy,
This year we are planning the car show the Sunday of Anchorfest. Moving forward, there are no plans that are solidified, but we're investigating our opportunities.
Right. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I mean, I guess it was different too, you know, but that makes a lot of difference on your traffic on Sunday as well,
It does, yeah.
compared to your revenues, it would have increased that, you know, so. But anyway, good, thank you, I'm sorry I missed that.
Thank you.
All right. That moves us to D, the park board. The park board minutes and agenda are in your packet. We're looking at. Library board agenda for 9 is in the packet. And the board meeting minutes. Number 10 is committee reports, cemetery advisory committee. And D, the tree board. One thing that I did talk to on the cemetery advisory board, we had talked about putting up some sort of a monument out there to those that are buried in unmarked graves in the old park, old section. There was talk from anywhere from us getting this ground sensing expensive stuff from the university to, you know, wanting to get, I don't know how you would DNA match these people, but you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I think the consensus was that, you know, we maybe should honor the fact that there are people buried there that unknown people in that area. because it's the oldest part of the cemetery in the Potter's Field. I got an education when we had one incident that came up was somebody went and buried there because we quit burying there. 2000, I think it was 2012 maybe, or maybe 8, but because of the fact that they had sold a plot and they went to bury and there was resting body there. So that's why we banned doing that. Now, just so everybody knows, you can bury up to 5 bodies on a resting body in any of the Centralia Cemetery. That's an option over in that part, but just not selling any new burial plots over there. We don't need the money that bad to have people on the day that they're doing something they'd rather be doing something much different, to be surprised with what's going on. So we want to make sure, I think that's something I'm going to talk with the cemetery board about and close the loop on that and get some sort of a monument put out there in that area, that this is the oldest part of the, state, this is the oldest part of the cemetery. Many people are buried here. Records were, not taken over by the city of Centralia till 1960, whatever it was. Those books are crumbling and fall apart. Just so a little education for people here. Those books we're having to take precautions to try to save those records of who's buried in that cemetery, inherited. I think the earliest burial in it is 1868 that's recognized, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but point being, there's lots that went on out there before we got the records, and it was kept by a private individual all these years of the records keeper for the cemetery. But that being said, there will be a change in the sextant that we have doing that. And that's going to go to Beth's taking that role along, so Beth will be the new cemetery sextant as of August 1st. She's kind of learning that job now. We have a person retiring that will be should be taking that role from them. That puts us to bills over $1,250. That's in your packet as well. Anybody have any questions about that list? All right, that moves us to financial statements. Anything here on that? Balance sheet, budget report, are both in there. I know there's conversations that are being had by our city administrator with the departments ongoing, where we're at in budget, on a regular basis to make sure how we doing, how we tracking for our overall budget, because things have gotten much higher, much more expensive in a lot of ways, and trying to make sure that we manage to that budget being absolutely on versus trying to scramble for the last 60 days trying to make up for a gap that could be created. So there's close eyes on that. It doesn't get easier. It doesn't seem like there's relief of people wanting to sell us stuff cheaper and quicker. So unfortunately, I think that's a trend that we're going to have to live with for a while. So Tara's doing a good job on that, so I appreciate the fact that you're engaged in that way. Other general government, do we have any other general government?
Gearing up, get ready for the audit. It'll
Yep,
be the first full week of July.
got it.
Well, it's not a full week because there's a holiday there, but that's when it is.
And that moves us to item 14, as may arise. Have any as may arise? If not, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. I have a first and second for us to adjourn. All in favor? All opposed? We are adjourned. We stand adjourned.